last regular season game in Boise today features the hot Air Force Falcons, winners in 3 of their last 4. As for Boise State, they're just trying to get in the win column. They've lost 6 straight. And they'd like to have something to build on before the conference tournament begins in Las Vegas on Wednesday. Inside Taco Bell Arena, it is the Falcons and the Broncos. Jenny Kavner alongside Joe Cravens today. And this is my favorite time of the year, Coach, because, well, first of all, it's your birthday. So happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Jenny.
And second off, March Madness right around the corner.
Well, March Madness doesn't always start in the NCAA tournament. We've got quite a bit of madness going on preceding the Mountain West Conference tournament. Both these teams still have a lot of motivation in their last game of the year here, Jenny.
Yeah, let's take a look at those standings. We know Utah State locked up at least a share of the Mountain West title. Nevada could also share in that with a win today against San Diego State. What's at stake today? We know Boise State's going to be playing in the 8-9 game on Wednesday, but Air Force, they need to win to secure that 6th seed.
Well, the Falcons, the winner of 3 out of 4, as you said, are looking for seeding and trying to improve their position in the conference tournament. The Broncos are just trying to win one, stop the bleeding, and have a little momentum going forward.
And sometimes it's about peaking at the right time. Air Force seems to be doing that, Coach, and one of their bright spots has been a freshman in his development this year in A.J. Walker, averaging almost 11 points a game in conference play.
Well, A.J. Walker is the Falcons' 3rd leading scorer, Jenny, but what he's done that's been so impressive as a freshman point guard, in the last 3 games he has 18 assists and only 3 turnovers. He has become a great facilitator, a great finisher at the basket, and he has become a great point guard.
There's another young star in this conference that we'll see on the other side in Boise State's Derek Alston. This is a guy that is a double-figure threat. He went into Air Force, and even though they lost, put up 24.
Well, Derek Alston has been maybe the surprise in the Mountain West Conference. As you said, coming off a 23-point game, he has 2 30-point games in Mountain West Conference this year. And, Jenny, this is a kid who had a total of 7 points all last year as a freshman for the Broncos.
Yeah, he's had the biggest change in going from averaging less than a point last year to 12.7 so far this year. The future looks bright for both of these teams, but again, a lot at stake with that Mountain West Conference Championship right around the corner in Las Vegas. We'll be right back for tips. But again, a lot at stake with that Mountain West Conference Championship right around the corner in Las Vegas. We'll be right back for tips. Back in Boise, Idaho, it is senior night for the Boise State Broncos hosting the Air Force Falcons. The final tune-up, if you will, in conference play before the Mountain West Conference tournament next week. As for the seniors, 2 being honored for Boise State tonight, David Wacker and Jack Haney. They combined for almost 250 career games with the Broncos. Means so much to this program today. The Broncos hope to say goodbye with a win. The 2 seniors are going to be in the lineup for Leon Rice and the Broncos. Of course, Marcus Dickinson, Justinian Jessup, who leads all Broncos in scoring, and Derek Alston to round things out. As for the Falcons, Caleb Morris, the 3-point threat. A.J. Walker, the freshman. Chris Joyce, he started in 5 of the last 6 games. Ryan Swan, he has turned one on, 58 points in his last 2. And, of course, their key cog in Lavelle Scotty. As for Dave Filipovich, the second longest tenured coach in the Mountain West, he's hoping that this team can keep rolling. They had a recent loss to Nevada, but had won 3 straight before that. They look to be a surprise in the conference tournament and turn some heads. A win today would secure that 6th spot. And Leon Rice, they just need a win to hang on to, Coach Cravens. You're talking about a team that has been used to winning as a program, 20-plus games a year. This year, one of the worst in program history, just 11 wins for them, 6 of them in conference. They've lost 6 straight, but a win today could do a lot for them.
Well, Jenny, I almost feel like there should be a footnote to go along with that 6-game losing streak. 2 of those in overtime, 1 by 2 points, and 1 by 1 point. You talk about a team that's had buzzards luck all year. It's been Leon Rice and his Broncos.
We are underway at Taco Bell Arena. You mentioned those close games, Coach. They are 1-9 in games decided by less than 3 points, including 2 overtime games. They hope this one doesn't come down to the wire, but if it does, they feel like something has to give in the win column. And why not give the ball to the senior to start things off on senior night, Zach Haney for 2.
Well, he looked pretty efficient on that one. A couple of dribbles going to his offhand to a left-handed jump hook. Ryan Swan is going to have to get a little better than that on low post defense, so it gets the big senior from Houston.
Look, A.J. Walker just tried to throw me a pass right there, turning the ball over.
Best shooter in the house. I thought it was coming to me. Obviously, it was going to you.
I mean, I was pretty good at JV basketball.
A.J. Walker, who has had 18 assists, only 3 turnovers in the last 3 games. The first time he gets his mitts on it, throws it to me and you. I'll let you decide if that's coming to me or to you.
You're the birthday boy. I'll defer to you. Haney again.
Zach Haney just having his way with Ryan Swan, who is normally a very, very good post defender. So far, Zach Haney's kind of taking him to school.
Call out on Givington will stay Air Force basketball.
Both of those over his right shoulder with his offhand. He's a right-handed player, and that is pretty handy to be able to go to your left hand like that. But if he continues to be able to put it on the floor, back Swan down, then Air Force is going to have to come double team.
Well, Scotty passes it, and another turnover for Air Force. Not the way you do things up as a Filipovic.
Well, Dave Filipovic after that one is with both hands saying, guys, slow down. Let's kind of get things under control. The winners of 3 of their last 4, they've been playing very, very good, Jenny, but 2 turnovers in the first 2 possessions, like you say, is not the way you want to start.
Jessup for 3 off the mark, and an offensive rebound to the Broncos. Olsen fires 3, can't connect, and Air Force is going to come up with the ball.
In the first 2 possessions, the Broncos went inside and got 2 buckets, and then the next 2 possessions, 2 threes. So I think maybe I'd go back inside if I was Leon Rice's team.
Another turnover almost, and Air Force gets the ball back. And finally does turn it over. Dickinson up ahead, and the easy lay-in. That's going to be a quick timeout for Dave Filipovic.
And a good timeout because they have done nothing on offense other than turn it over 3 straight times. Dixon almost picked that one off there, and then on the next pass, A.J. Walker with 2 turnovers the first 2 times he touched it, and the Broncos are off and running to 6-0 lead.
So Boise State aggressive early. Air Force is 13 turnovers a game. Boise State on the other side, they only average 11, which is tops in the Mountain West Conference.
And A.J. Walker just simply lost the handle on it there. Marcus Dickinson, who leads the team in steals, almost picked that off. But A.J. Walker, again, just kind of mishandled it there. He has 2 turnovers in the first 2 minutes.
He gets the early timeout, pays off. Filipovic got after his cadets.
That's about as upset as I think I've seen him in the many games I've had of their team.
Well, Lavelle Scotty doing what he does. The co-captain of this team, being a leader, said, I'm going to handle this. We're going to get on the board with points.
Lavelle Scotty coming off his 4th double-double of the year. 13 points, 10 rebounds in their loss over at Nevada, which again is the first loss in 4 games for his team.
We got to coach basketball because they were right back inside like
Wow.
you suggested, and it pays off for Zach Haney. 6 points for the senior on senior night and a chance for a 3-point play.
Jenny, I can remember coaching a team one time. We scored about 3 straight times inside. Then we next 3 possessions took jump shots. So I called a timeout, and I asked them, was it getting too easy? That wasn't challenging enough. And I think maybe Leon Rice told his team maybe the same thing. Zach Haney just off and blowing and going here in the first couple of minutes.
Averaging 8 points this season a game, already has 7 for the Broncos.
Boy, he and Dave Walker, the 2 seniors, seems like they've been here forever and a day. They both redshirted a year, so they put 5 years into this program. That's 10 years between them, and as you said, almost 250 games between them.
Ryan Swan drives and can't get the ball to go in. Jump ball. State after it. He and Jessup got tied up. And
now, as good as Ryan Swan has been playing lately, I think he got just a little bit too cute with that at the end. He tried to finger roll it instead of laying it up. And he and Lavelle Scotty have been terrific in conference play, especially lately. But again, I just thought he got a little loose with that one.
He'll have another opportunity under the basket, getting double teamed, and another turnover for the Falcons.
4 turnovers. That is a recipe for disaster.
Also pressed inside and taking hold of the basketball, but knocks it to one of his teammates and back in his hand. Alston over to Wacker, and the other senior converts.
I tell you what, I think tonight was the first time these two big guys have started together in what I would call a big lineup. Derek Austin playing the 3. Leon Rice may be over there thinking, how come we hadn't done this early? Because the two big guys are just playing terrific so far.
Lavelle Scotty, all the points for the Falcons.
Lavelle Scotty and Ryan Swan have developed into a terrific inside-out tandem inside. Early in the year, Dave Boise was playing a bigger lineup, and now they've gone with a smaller lineup, and has really allowed those two to show their versatility, so to speak.
Another offensive rebound and converting to points. The three-pointer for Marcus Dickinson. He already has 5. Coach, the last 2 games, he hasn't come up with a point.
Now, Dickinson came to this program as more of a scorer, and he's kind of settled in to just kind of a facilitator, just kind of a run the show. I think he's capable of scoring more than what he has in the last month or so.
A kick from Boise State, or that was almost another Falcons turnover. 14-4 as we take our first time out from Taco Bell Arena. Mountain West Basketball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Steel. Find your Steel dealer at steeldealers.com. And by Bojo's, Colorado-style pizza, home of the legendary handmade mountain pie. Visit bojos.com. And back at Taco Bell Arena on senior night, it is the senior taking over. Zach Haney in the starting lineup, already building to 7 points. He's had back-to-back double-digit games in the last 2 conference games, most recently coming of 11 points against New Mexico.
And showing a lot of versatility in the post. 2 jump hooks over his left shoulder, and then going back to his strong shoulder and shooting it with his right hand. 3 for 3, and David Wacker, the other big senior, 1 for 1. So the post guys are 4 for 4, as the Broncos are 6 for 9 with no turnovers. Air Force, 4 turnovers.
4 turnovers for Air Force, and he's got a tie into the Falcons.
Wow, that was Old Boat. Another turnover. Make a tie as a kid that leads this team in field goal percentage.
Chris Boyd couldn't get the ball in, so another timeout for Air Force.
2 timeouts in less than 5 minutes, and Air Force, again, kind of sleepwalking through this first 5 minutes, Jimmy.
It's not the way you would think they'd respond after winning 3 straight and a close loss at Nevada down in Colorado Springs, a 90-79 loss. And all of a sudden, they come out today not only slow, but with the turnovers, as you mentioned, 4 of them already.
Well, like I say, and you know, some of them, what you call unforced there with A.J. Walker just losing the handle on it. Pretty good defense there by just getting Jessup what coaches call a V-back. But boy, they're just throwing that thing all over the place.
The Falcons get the ball in, and A.J. Walker will have it at the top of the key. Joyce handing off to Caleb Morris for 3.
And that's what Caleb Morris has brought to the table since he has been inserted to the lineup. Is he gives them a real threat from 3-point line. A lot of good young players on this team.
39 threes now for Morris, leads all Falcons. Boise State is going to give the Falcons a little more of what's been working inside to Haney. So now he's 9.
Well, Air Force playing a little smaller lineup now with Swan out but they're going to have to either come double Haney or not let him catch it quite so deep, or both. There's going to have to be a defensive adjustment, or he's going to have 50 tonight. Well, maybe 50. I don't know. 50 may be a little.
That might be.
Yeah.
It's just on your mind because that's your birthday, right? You did 5-0.
At least. Just any and guess at the kid that leads the Broncos in virtually every category, and it does it kind of in a very unassuming way.
6 minutes into the game before Justinian and Jessup scored.
And A.J. Walker must have put lotion on his body and forgot to wipe it off his hands before the game because he just cannot hold on to it. Against San Jose, about 2 weeks ago, he had a 10-assist, no turnover game, Jenny. Again, I alluded to 18 assists, 3 turnovers in the last 3 games, and he can't hardly dribble it across the half court right now without turning it over.
Alex Hobbs checked in for Boise State. He's been fighting the flu, came back and had strep as well, so he's been a bit under the weather.
And that's a little bit of a challenging matchup there for Lavelle Scotty, is trying to guard Derek Austin, and when he drives it from the perimeter, because I believe Austin is probably quicker than him on the perimeter. And then he has those telescoping type arms that once he gets around the basket, he just kind of gets it up around the rim before you realize how close he is. Man, he's long.
And when you look at, 6'8", 185 pounds for Alston, you're not going, oh, he's probably a great free throw shooter. This is a guy that reeled off 26 consecutive free throws in one chunk of conference play before he missed at Air Force.
Well, everything he's done this year has been amazing to me. We talked about in the open, here's a kid that had 7 total points last year. And obviously very limited playing time, and all of a sudden, he comes back this year, and he is like a different person in there.
Collected 11 straight free throws without a miss. Falcons is having a tough time keeping a hold of the basketball, but Lavelle Scotty on the drive, and he's going to force in a made shot.
Well, Scotty, just a power move there, playing through the head. He scored his 1,000th point in their game against Nevada. He's led the team in scoring the last 2 years. As I say, he and Swan have developed into 2 outstanding inside-out players.
Hobbs for a quick 2.
Hobbs has been sick for the last week or so. He didn't start the last game, Jenny. That broke a 21-game streak where he started every game, and as Leon Rice said, they probably shouldn't have played at all last game, but he did manage to get in for 30 minutes. Leon said, I shouldn't have played him at all, but I played him 30 minutes.
Scotty slipped and then kicks it out, and Caleb Morris for his second 3 of the game.
Caleb Morris 2 for 6 in his last game from the 3-point line, and he said leads the team in made 3s through this game already.
Alston for 3 with the answer.
The offense is coming pretty free and easy. If Air Force can just hold on to it, they're not having any trouble making it go in when they get a shot.
Comes into the Falcons.
Stone started the first 26 games.
And an air ball from Ryan Swan. So the Broncos have built a 25-12 lead here at Taco Bell Arena. Point advantage for the home team in Boise State, but Air Force trying to climb back in this behind Caleb Morris and the three-pointers. He's already made 2 so far in the game today for a total of 6 points, and when he makes multiple threes, this team, they have a good winning record, 6-2. And you know what? It's not like Air Force lives and dies by the 3, Coach. They average just around 7 a game, but you're going to have to if you want to dive back into this one.
Well, Caleb Morris has made Air Force better, especially offensively, since he's been inserted to the lineup. He replaced Sid Combs, who, as I said earlier, had started 26 games. But Sid Combs was a little bit more of a role player, defender, a ball handler. Caleb Morris has just given them another threat, and especially a deep threat.
go in half. Heaney out, Wacker back in. See if they work the ball inside or stay on the perimeter. Shot clock at 6 with the ball in Jessup's hands, and he's going to make a move. Misses, but a foul call underneath.
I think that's the key on a push-off. They're trying to get to the glass and rebound there. I hadn't figured out if Air Force was in a man or a zone there. They came out with a lot of energy defensively then, and either they were switching everything or they were in a 2-3 zone. But they did a nice job of disguising what truly they were in. Boise State's playing man-to-man. Leon Rice has played more zone this year than ever before, and yet another Falcon turnover.
Shot clock got down to single digits, and with Sean Brown turning the ball over, he just came back against Nevada, suffered 2 different stints of ankle injuries this year. Only played in 11 games.
Only one senior on this entire Air Force team, and that's Purvis Louder, the co-captain, a kid that is really as if on cue. Here he comes, the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, and Dave Filipovic had nothing but praise for him today. He brought 9 guys in as recruits in his class, and Purvis Louder is the only one left.
There's something to be said for that, sticking with the program. In fact, Purvis Louder, he'll go on to be an assistant coach at the prep school next year as part of his assignment when he becomes the second lieutenant.
Well, he's given 4 very, very solid years. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup his entire career, but provided, whether he was starting or coming off the bench like he is now, he's provided terrific leadership for the Falcons.
Ball to Ryan Swan, but shot clock violation for the Falcons.
Well, the last 2 defensive possessions, the Broncos have been on point. They have done a great job in their half-court defense. And when you can tell a team's really playing good defense, don't watch on the ball, watch away from the ball. And if they are down in stance and communicating, and the Broncos were doing just that. They've strung 2 back-to-back possessions of great defense.
Air Force hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes, and Hobbs puts one in for the Broncos, the first score since the under-12 timeout.
Well, Hobbs is a terrific scorer. I always say with him, he's not a great shooter, he's a great scorer. He's a kid that shoots it okay from 3, but what he does best is make the ball go in the hoop.
Swan hands off to Brown, back to Swan. Takes it towards Wacker for points.
Well, now they've got to get some stops out the other end. They've dug themselves into a 13-point hole here, and they've got to really tighten it up to make this deficit up, Jimmy. They've got to play at both ends and not just points. Taking care of the ball, obviously, would help playing.
Broncos shooting at 70%. Richardson for 3 in and out.
The Broncos have doubled Air Force up almost 27-14, and they've done it without their leading scorer, Justine Jessup, only getting 1 basket and going 1 for 5 from the field. So they have really spread the offense around, which is a little bit unusual for them. They're getting great production from those 2 big seniors that Coach Rice started this senior night.
Senior for Air Force, Louder picking up his first foul, but they're going to review exactly who that was on. The shot went up from Dickinson, and
well, I think that may be more than a personal foul.
I have to look at that as a flagrant.
Flagrant 1. I don't think it was what I call a violent foul, but it was not, in referee talk, a basketball play. Used his forearm to kind of push the big guy there, so I think that is not going to work in Air Force's favor. Then it's interesting, as you recall, in Air Force's win over Boise State at Air Force, it was a play very similar to that that turned the game around late in the game, where Boise State got called for a flagrant one and a 2-point game at that time, and Air Force came down and turned that into a 6-point play, and all of a sudden it was a 10-point game instead of a 2-point game.
Yeah, a big difference. Boise State coming out in Colorado Springs strong, and then all of a sudden Air Force, as you mentioned, that 6-point play was really the turnaround for them, and they ended up winning the first meeting 74-60.
Well, that was a lot later in the game that happened.
So common foul, as the referees are explaining to us, looking for a hook and hold, but they didn't see it as such. They called it a clamp. That's referee speak, right, Coach?
That's been kind of new terminology this year, that hook and hold. I thought Purvis Louder was going to get called for an intentional foul there, but the Air Force kind of escaped that, and it was just a regular personal foul and kind of play on.
Alston hits a cutting whacker and turns the ball over, but Boise able to recover. Dickinson drives and Whacker tries to go up, gets fouled by A.J. Walker.
Terrific pass by Marcus Dickinson, who is second on this team in assists, surprisingly, behind Justinian Jessup. Justinian Jessup leads in just about every good category there is in offense.
Whacker, a 63% free throw shooter, misses the first.
That had bad rotation on it there. That looked a little bit more like a knuckleball. That had side rotation on it instead of back rotation on it. And he's a little bit better shooter than that.
But the other senior in Whacker makes his second, and Alston will come out for a breather for the Broncos.
Well, again, I've seen Boise State play probably 4 times this year, and I don't remember them playing those bigs together, and here they are again with both those big seniors in the lineup. Now, they've gone through the 2-3 zone that I mentioned. Leon Rice hadn't played a lot before this year, but played a lot of it this week.
Keaton Van Solen in for the Falcons. This is his first shot attempt.
Van Solen started 20 of the first 29 games, and Dave Topovich, I talked to him today, has done a nice job of very subtly tweaking his lineup, not only to get the best 5 players on the floor, but that's really helped him develop a very productive bench as well.
Shot clock down to 5, and the ball in Jessup's hands again. He's going to have to get the ball up, but instead travels. So it's 28-14 lead. The Broncos have doubled up the Falcons. Well, back at Taco Bell Arena, another point has magically appeared for Boise State. It's 29-14 because they went back to look at this 3-point attempt from Hobbs, and it is a 3, indeed.
Well, if you're Leon Rice, you got to feel good about how your team's playing, and especially when you call timeout and you got 28, you come back and you got 29. Everything's going good for you then, Jenny.
Did that ever just magically happen for you in a timeout? Extra points get added on?
Usually I call the timeout with 28 points and come back with like 23. They decided to take 5 off
Take
just
some away?
for my conduct. Talking about Coach Rice, they are having, he's strung together 6 straight 20-win seasons. Now, they're having a tough year this year, but I don't know that I've ever seen a guy been around the coach who's having this tough a year. He's more upbeat about his future and more even-keeled than Leon Rice.
Well, I think when you played as many close games as they had, there's no moral victories in this game, we know that, but you have to also know your team is not giving up. There's a lot of fight in this team. He said he sees it at practice every day, he sees it in their attitudes, and he sees it from their senior as Haney will play the guitar. How about that? 12 points on senior night.
Zach Haney just playing in the gym by himself right now. And how about this stat? Boise State 11 points off turnovers. Air Force no points off turnovers. So Air Force is almost aiding and abetting the Broncos with their turnovers and adding to their point total. And here comes the other senior. And he's on fire too.
Seniors are taking over. A combined 17 points.
And again, Leon Rice has not played this big lineup much, and he may go with it all night the way these two guys are playing. Back in their 2-3 zone and very active in this 2-3 zone.
34-16, and the Broncos trying to cause another turnover. And they're going to do it. Boise State calling a timeout when they had control of the basketball, Coach.
A.J. Walker's 4th turnover. That's more than he's had in the last 3 games. And boy, he is frustrated. Watch him walk through the huddle. He looks every bit a freshman right now. Hands on his hips, his chin on his chest. That's what you call bad body language. He's got to get his head up and start leading his team here.
8 turnovers for Air Force, but when you look at Boise State, it was advertised as senior night. They're showing up for the people that bought the ticket. Zach Haney with a 3-point shot, and Wacker doing some damage inside as well.
Zach Haney, 3 for 17 on the year. Before that one, I think maybe he hadn't been playing that air guitar enough, Jenny. I mean, he hit that and went to his air guitar. He probably should have started that a little earlier in the year.
How about at the end of all their shoot-arounds on game day, they go and shoot half-court shots, and Leon Rice, he's been making a lot of them, and he feels pretty good when he makes them. You think Zach Haney has just been sitting on that one?
I told Leon I'm a better shooter than he is. I don't know about Zach Haney, though. Zach Haney just having, like I say, he's just having the ball playing tonight.
So Boise State team is a 17 points, Air Force only 16 points. As we mentioned, the thing that takes for Air Force is a 6th seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament. That's the difference between playing the 11th seed team and all of a sudden getting in the mix now of being 7th, depending on what other schools do, or playing in that 8-9 game, which would be right again against Boise State.
Well, they're digging themselves into a huge hole here, and it's never good to be in a hole, but especially against a team who's lost 6 in a row and at home. Like we said in the open, Boise State has a lot of motivation simply to get one over in the left-hand corner or left-hand column and feel good about things.
Dickinson had to throw one up with the shot clock running down, and another offensive rebound for Boise State.
Great job by Dickinson.
Hey, do it again. Why not? Oh, awesome, Mark. You wanted some more air guitar.
And then his senior teammate Wacker gets called for a push-off on that rebound, but boy, are they having fun playing tonight. And just the opposite on the other bench. Look at Air Force's bench. Just, kind of bad body language. And I hate to say that against a team that I think the world of, and I think the world of that guy too, and what a job he's done there. But boy, Air Force gets playing with no emotion tonight, and well, sometimes it's hard to figure out as a coach. It's think you know your team and you got them going the right way, and they just throw your curveball.
Bill Scotty throws one up, offensive rebound, back up, and he's at the second offensive board as King comes up with it. Firing away is Olsen.
And a terrific pass by Justinian Jessup, a part of his game that goes unnoticed. He leads this team in assists, and that was a very simple pass there, but as soon as that ball hit his hands, he hit Austin in the corner, who was wide open for a 3.
8 threes for the redshirt sophomore, and answering on the other end, Caleb Morris. Again, we said he has multiple threes. The Falcons are 6-2, but they have a long way to go in this one to get back in.
He had 5 threes against San Jose, season high. Your 4 threes against UNLV on his way to a career-high 19, but he's not getting much help tonight.
Boise State is their second turnover of the game compared to Air Force's now 9. Other end, Jessup for 3, and nothing but the net.
Derek Austin just returned the favor. Remember, Justinian Jessup hit him for a 3 about a minute ago, and now Austin hits Justinian Jessup, and I love the way Jessup held that follow through all the way till the ball hits the bottom of the net.
Well, Scotty answers on the other end, and he's quickly in double digits in this one.
I see a real subtlety then going back to the point I made. Lavelle Scotty hits the basket. Not one guy, not one teammate on the floor claps him on the back, claps his hands, raise a clear fist, let's go. Well, they're just playing with very, very little emotion right now.
So Olsen misses, and this will be Air Force's ball after the break. Justinian Jessup getting in the mix for threes. Boise State with 40 points.
Boise State just playing lights out in their half-court offense right now, doing a great job of sharing the ball, and they're doing it all. Watch Justinian Jessup with that quick touch pass to Austin. Justinian Jessup, as I said, leads this team in assists, scoring, rebounding, maybe popcorn ate after practice, I don't know. He leads them in everything, Jenny.
So Olsen now with 8 points, and Boise State 6 made three-pointers. That's one more than they had at Air Force. They only were 5 for 25 from three-point range when they last faced the Falcons and did not have a good shooting game.
Well, Jenny, the thing I'm noticing about, and we did that game when Boise State went to Air Force and Air Force beat them, Air Force guarded the heck out of Boise State that game. Great energy defensively. They held Boise State to 36% shooting from the field, and as you said, 20% from three, and it is a role reversal tonight. Boise State shooting 60% from the field so far, 46 from three. So again, Air Force not very good defensively this afternoon.
Hobbs picks up the third team foul for the Broncos. Otis misses. It's going to be Boise State basketball.
And to kind of combine two thoughts, Jenny, when your team is not playing with much enthusiasm or much energy, it shows more on the defensive end than it does the offensive end. And again, just watching Air Force walk down the court end, not one guy helping each other out, not clapping their hands, not hitting anyone on the backside. Just no energy, and it's kind of amazing because they've got something at stake in this game.
They had a lot at stake. That 6 seed in the Mountain West tournament, as we mentioned, with a win, it would be theirs. A lot of other things have to happen around the conference to see where they would get seeded with a loss. But again, so much respect, as you talked about, for both of these coaches and how they lead their teams. I think for Dave Pilipovic, that's something you look at on your schedule. Not a great start for them in conference play, and all of a sudden they reel off those 3 wins, playing Nevada very close at Clune Arena. And the best team, not only in the conference, but also you're talking about being ranked in the nation, and then how do you respond to that? And that's what he's seeing right now. Is not the response he was expecting.
Well, these are the 2 longest tenured coaches in the Mountain West Conference. Leon Rice, 9 seasons. Dave Pilipovic, 8 seasons. And they've done a great job in their tenure at their school, and you won't find 2 classier, better people than these 2 coaches here tonight. Sometimes, Jenny, we get caught up in one-loss records, and that's how you judge the guys' work. These are 2 terrific representatives of their school.
Rare to see Olsen miss both free throws, and Air Force trying to capitalize on the other end with an offensive rebound, and Scotty can't come up with points. Hobbs inside to Henry, back out to Jessup for 3. Doesn't go in, and another offensive rebound to the Broncos.
That's Bryce Dickinson tonight has jumped in the fray there and tipped the ball out so his teammates can get an offensive rebound. And that's the first time Haynes missed tonight almost. He's had such, been so efficient around the basket before that.
Double-digit turnovers to the Air Force Falcons. Definitely the story in this game. Boise State scored 14 points off those turnovers so far, and they're looking to make it more.
Remember, they turned it over their first 2 possessions, and that almost kind of set the tempo for the rest of the half. And missed it quite that very often. Not a great score, but he missed that one by a foot long.
Nobody continues to buy a bucket at this point. Air Force hasn't scored in over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and Boise State hasn't scored in quite some time either, but maybe looking to change that and does. The senior's really relishing in his spotlight tonight, isn't he?
Having the big time tonight, but that's too easy. I mean, Air Force with there's been times this year when I've had Air Force that I have bragged about their post defense, how good it is, which is not an easy thing to teach post defense, and it has been almost non-existent tonight. Well, Scotty only a 29% three-point shooter. That's not where his bread is buttered. I think he probably had to shoot both those. They just don't have much going on tonight.
That's just a lot of butter from outside.
Boy, you know what's amazing about him? Good, bad, indifferent. He never changes expression. He hits that, no air guitar, no pumping his fist. He just turned around and ran to the other end, and you got to love that as a coach.
He is steady Eddie for this team. You mentioned it. Leads the team in points, assists, blocks. He's in the 1,000-point club here at Boise State. And 6 homes scores his first bucket of the game.
Well, it's been kind of a long dry spell there. Six homes scored double digits for their first 5 games this year, including his career high 20, and then he kind of settled into a quarters role, so to speak. He didn't score double digits again after that. That's a blocking or a screening foul on the big air guitar player.
So another opportunity for Air Force to score points with just 6.7 seconds in the first half.
Boy, down 21. Now, Air Force could either get themselves to the free throw line or maybe get a decent shot here. Usually you get 1 dribble per second on the clock.
Holmes is going to take the shot. It doesn't go in, so a 21-point lead for the hometown Boise State Broncos as we get a half here at Taco Bell Arena. Coming up on our College Hoops Halftime Report, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Chandler Hutchinson in the house. We'll talk to the former first-round draft pick when we return. Now the Broncos leading the Falcons. We of course have to flash back to someone that's part of that senior class, but he left early and for good reason. A former first-round draft pick, the first one in program history. Of course, we're talking Chandler Hutchinson, the winningest program in Broncos history, 88 career wins for the 2-time first-team All-Mountain West selection. And he is in the house today. We've heard lots of screams, we've seen lots of autographs, and for good reason. And we are so lucky that he's taking the time to join us. Chandler, it's so great to see you, and it's so cool that you came back to surprise your old teammates. Tell me how it all came about today.
Yeah, I mean, I just had some time this weekend and wanted to do something, kind of special for the guys, especially with Zach and David. I actually came here with them. We were all recruited in the same class, so, to be able to catch a game this year with that team, these guys are seniors that I'm close to. It's cool to surprise them and kind of pop my head in and see some familiar faces.
Yeah, speaking of, how about Zach Haney and the game that he's having so far? He's going off right now.
Yeah, I know. I think, he's got some family here, and I think seeing me kind of re-energize him a little bit, but he's playing well. Hopefully we can keep it up.
I know that Leon Rice and you keep in close contact throughout the course of now your NBA career going on. What does he mean to you in your time here, and just that relationship now that you've kind of left the nest, so to speak, in college?
Yeah, I mean, he trusted me so much in college with the teams that we had, my ability, or he just allowed me to kind of go out there and play and do things and trust me, and I appreciate that for him, letting me lead the team and kind of be that guy that guys look up to and learn from. So, I owe him a lot and just try to, do whatever he may need for him. And, he's someone who I'm going to keep close contact with here in my career, and definitely someone that's really close to me.
Yeah, you were part of just building such a great program here under Leon Rice. We talk about 20-win seasons that always seem to get turned out here in Boise. A rough year for them. As you watched from afar and watched these players, it seems like they haven't really wavered too much. So what impresses you about this group, and especially knowing that the majority of them are coming back next year?
Well, that's the thing, to see a young team that continues to fight, even though they, a lot of things didn't really go their way. They've lost multiple games by 1-2 points that it's easy to hang your head and kind of maybe, tuck it in and get ready for the next year, but they keep fighting. And that's something that you can see with having a young team that's pretty special. You don't see that often, but I think, they're going to finish this year out strong. Obviously, you got to go down to Vegas, and they're going to compete there. I know they will. but definitely have some pieces for the future, and I'm excited to continue to watch them grow.
Let's talk NBA. Of course, right now you're injured and struggling through that first injury. I know that's probably pretty difficult, but just what's life been like for you in the NBA? Is it everything you ever dreamed of?
Well, it's a lot of adjustment. You know, you go from kind of being that main guy on this team and to being someone who has to find a role quickly, and that's something that I've tried to accept as a challenge to find my niche in there. Obviously, you never want the setback of an injury, but it's something that a lot of players deal with, and so I'm going to be better from it. Just learn my body and take care of it, but just continue to get better and learn a lot. I'm continuing to learn, so hopefully I'll be around at this level for a long time, and it's been special so far.
I know you have a lot more hands to go shake and autographs to sign, so thanks so much for taking the time to join us, Chandler. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's halftime here in Boise, and the hometown team with the big lead of 45-24 over Air Force. We'll be right back with first half stats and highlights. The Snake River Canyon Mustangs were in Boise, Idaho, and the Broncos with a 45-24-point lead over the Air Force Falcons. Jenny Cavanaugh, Joe Craven's back with you, and I would say a 21-point lead at half for the Broncos is letting all that steam out with those close games they've been playing.
Well, they're playing lights out, and Air Force has helped them quite a bit by turning it over 10 times, and that's not the tale, just the turnovers. Boise State has scored 14 points off of those turnovers, and remember, Air Force started off bad. They turned it over 3 of their first 4 possessions and kind of set the stage, Jenny, for what was going to happen the rest of the half.
Very slow start for the Falcons, and again, some sloppy play we're not used to seeing from Air Force, so we'll see how they respond in the second half. As for Boise State, we said they came out hot. It was behind 2 seniors on senior night, both of them in the starting lineup. They've been in the starting lineup together this season, and Wacker putting up 5 points to go along with Zach Haney doing the big damage.
Well, 14 for Zach Haney. Between the two, they're 8 for 10 from the field. And needless to say, they are having a big time here on senior night. They're just playing like they're in the gym by themselves.
I think they're showing off for Chandler Hutchinson, who we just had a conversation with. He came in, of course, with both of these 2 guys that ended up redshirting, so now they get to celebrate their senior night tonight. They're trying to do it with a win. Boise State has lost 6 in a row, so a win today will be a good foundation as they head to Vegas for the conference tournament next week. But you mentioned it, shooting lights out 57% from field goal range for Boise State, a much different tale than when they saw Air Force last time at Twin Arena.
My biggest concern about Air Force, as I alluded to the first half, just no energy, Jenny. And I've been there as a coach. You don't know. I don't know, maybe, the trip, what transpired last week at the academy, but no energy, no enthusiasm, and let's see if they can get that turned around this half because, boy, they just haven't been there mentally, it doesn't seem like.
Well, time is running out to answer those questions that you have. Just 20 minutes remain in the regular season for Mountain West play. We'll see how Air Force responds when we return. From the looks of the halftime score, you wouldn't think Boise State lost 6 straight coming into this game. They are out with a vengeance, led behind their senior on senior night. Zach Haney, 14 points for him. Lavelle Scotty for Air Force with 10 to lead all Falcons. And Caleb Morris right behind him. He hit 3 threes, and Air Force is going to need to put a lot more threes up in order to get back in this one. Down 21 as we begin the second half. Boise State has the basketball.
Well, very interesting, and give Coach Leon Rice a little credit. He only played 6 guys that half. They were going good, so he wasn't going to mess it up by substituting a lot and breaking that rhythm.
Alton into double digits, and Morris' shot got blocked.
Caleb Morris only took 3 shots. They were all 3-point attempts, and hit all 3. That's the first one inside the 3-point line taken, and didn't make it.
Roger to Haney, but the seniors from Texas can't connect.
He wasn't near as deep as those first two post catches he got early in the game there, and that's what you call on post defense, getting your homework done a little bit earlier, not letting them get that deep on that post catch. Good ball movement by Air Force here. They're now down to a short shot clock. Let's see if they can get decent shots.
So Scotty takes it and can't make it.
0 for 3 for Lavelle Scotty from the three-point line. He played every minute the first half. Boise State had two players that played the entire 20 minutes.
Dickinson with the driving dish. He's going to get called for the offensive foul, and Caleb Morris down on the ground.
That is only Boise State. That goes down as a turnover, an offensive foul, Jimmy, and that is their only third turnover for the game. They have been very, very efficient, shooting 56% the first half and only 2 turnovers.
So Caleb Morris is going to come out. Sid Combs in the ball game.
He took a pretty good shot there. I give him credit for being tough enough to stick his nose in there. You don't see Dickinson get out of control very often. He has been kind of the consummate point guard since he's been in. 3 steals in that first half. That was a big part. 10 turnovers by, 11 turnovers now by Air Force.
And Olsen gets it on the other end with the jam.
Boy, he gets from here to there in a hurry with great quickness and that length. Holy moly, that was quick.
Like a giraffe, runs like a gazelle. Kind of like a cheetah, if you will.
I like all those.
The hybrid animal came in at $140 up to 185, and I think with another off season of weight room, that's a player that could be pretty special. We saw today that he's been mentioned as a possible NBA draft pick by some experts out there. And
I think that's a stretch right now.
Well,
but
it's a stretch. It's what he is. I think he has the potential to become part of that conversation.
Air Force has taken 3 threes here in the first 2.5 minutes, and I guess you got to take those, but I'm not sure you got to take those. I would like to see him work the ball and get it inside a little bit and chip away at this big lead.
25-point deficit. Air Force didn't make it to the foul line once in the first half.
And they have come out just stone cold. They needed to come out and play well early to feel good about things and kind of, make a run, but they have not had any luck making the ball go in so far.
So Ryan Swan's going to get the foul, try and slow things down here. I mean, to me, he looks pretty tired, Ryan Swan does. He's only come up with 2 points for this team today so far, after combining for 58 points his last 2 games. They're missing a lot of production out of 34.
Well, he played 35 minutes in their game against Nevada earlier in the week, and Scotty played 34 minutes, Morris 34 minutes, so you may be seeing a little bit of fatigue. A.J. Walker, 37 minutes. And remember, this is the academy we're talking about. It's not like they get to sleep in after a game. It's up at 6 a.m. every morning. It's not like someone comes and knocks on their door and says, you guys sleep in. We know you played last night. So, again, fatigue may be playing a big part of it.
Zach King making those 2 free throws now has a season high, 16 points for him. And the other senior whacker coming up with a rebound.
And I like Scotty attacking the basket. Wow.
He's putting on a show. He's going, Haney, you may have your night, but I'm the future, man.
Up 29. The Broncos just pouring it on in this first 5 minutes.
Back-to-back dunks for Derek Olsen. Who's the man?
Derek Austin.
Big lead in Boise, 53-24. Broncos over the Falcons. And on senior night, it's the redshirt sophomore taking over. How about Derek Olsen with the big jams back-to-back? He has 14 points now. And we talked, Coach, about experts picking him as an NBA draft pick sleeper. He must have gotten word himself.
Wow. As I said, he gets from point A to point B in a hurry. He's very quick, and he's extraordinarily long. And look at Chandler Hutchinson visiting from the Chicago Bulls, liking what he sees.
Man, Olsen started to peel away the layers and show off a bit. He got the crowd going crazy.
remember when Chandler Hutchinson was here last year, this was the kid that scored 7 points. So he's
the whole
season. So he's probably looking at Chandler and saying, look what I've done while you're away, brother.
You finally left so I could show up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you're gone.
I don't think anyone in Broncos country is Chandler Hutchinson's job. They wish they could copy and repeat, and I guess that is the good news for Leon Rice. They have some transfers coming their way, and feels good about the freshman class he has right now, a freshman they're going to get next year. So the future of Boise State is bright.
And I talked about how upbeat Leon is, Coach Rice is, as we talked to him before the game, going through the year that they're going through. Remember, he had 6 straight 20-win seasons before this. Boise State had only had 7 20-win seasons in their history, and Leon Rice has been strung 6 together. And you're right, he's got 2 terrific transfers setting out, one from Oregon, one from Arizona. They have Robin George, the big 6'10", German who's redshirting this year, and he redshirted his entire freshman class, 4 kids. So he's got a bedlam talent setting out.
And then, of course, you have the return of Justinian Jessup. He'll be a senior next year. I mentioned he joined the 1,000-point club, the 15th fastest player to do it in just 93 games. He's playing his 94th game. I have a feeling he'll go down in the record book by the time all is said and done as a Bronco.
Well, Jenny, he won't be first team All-League this year, but he will be next year. He'll be preseason first team based just on returning players, and he's had a terrific career here. He had 90 made 3-pointers last year. He's a little bit less than that at 84 right now, but he has a chance to be the all-time leading 3-point shooter.
Olsen misses some 3.
Things have kind of quieted down. That first 5 minutes, it was like fireworks going off inside.
Curtis Lauder, the senior for Air Force in the game.
Remember, A.J. Walker, we were bragging on early in the game, and that's the one thing that goes along with being a freshman you got to put up with. It's some inconsistency, and he was very inconsistent tonight.
Kinbraid fouled from Wacker. So Wacker picking up his 3rd foul. 53-26. Broncos with a big lead in second. Mountain West Basketball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Mako. Visit your local Mako and turn the car you drive into the car you love. And speaking of love, we have a lot of it for our analyst, Joe Cravens. We want to wish him a very happy 65th birthday, Coach.
Bye.
From the time you were a little boy until the time you started growing your mustache. Playing some basketball in the early years, coaching in the early years. That leisure stew. I was hoping you'd bust that one out today.
You've been in someone's ear to get those
I've been in touch with a few someones in your life, and thanks to your youngest daughter, Shelby, getting a hold of her mom, we're able to surprise you with some old pictures.
I don't know how this 65 birthday crept up on me. I went to bed last week at 45. I woke up this week at 65. I tell you, I don't know. That was cute.
That's what happens when you coach basketball. What'd you say today? It's like dog years?
My old buddy Charlie Spoonhour, the late great Charlie Spoonhour, said coaching Division I basketball is like living dog years. Each one takes 7 years off your life. And it is a tough business, especially this time of year. Boy, about 3 or 4 months of sleepless nights and hard-fought games and heartbreaking losses. It's a tough way to make a living.
Henry makes full free throws, and Coach, I just have to say, for 95, you look amazing. That hot yoga's doing some tricks.
Hot yoga and Miller Lite is the key to the fountain of youth, let me tell you.
Haley season high, he keeps building up to 18 now.
Boise State back in their zone now. They've done a nice job. Jenny, we've seen them this year where they've played almost the entire game of this 2-3 zone, and tonight they've done a nice job of jumping in and out of it and kind of keeping Air Force without any kind of offensive rhythm. like Air Force right now with 5 subs in the game, not one starter in the game. Maybe Coach Filipovic sending his starting group a little bit of a message here, which sometimes has to be done, but not one starter on the court.
Well, your foul call, Kenner did. No call, and capitalizing is Olsen for 3, his 3rd of the night.
And you are talking about a kid. I talked about just getting Jessup probably being preseason all-league next year. That kid has a chance of being preseason all-league. I can't imagine a better returning forward, maybe in the entire league, than potentially I'm speaking about in Derek Austin.
Jessup up to 6 assists now. I feel like we've got to talk about him in some form or fashion. He's letting all the other guys do the scoring.
And you know, it seems to be content with that, and that's the reason he's such a great teammate. He just, what do you need today? Rebounding, you need me to pass the ball, you need me to hit a couple shots. He does everything for his team, and like I say, he does it in a very understated manner. The expression you see on his face right now, he hasn't changed the whole game. Make a shot, miss a shot, ahead, behind. He plays, like I say, just like every play is the same. From Longmont, Colorado. Boy, when they show up over at Colorado State, he gets a gang of family and friends to coach him.
Well, Coach Filipovic knows all about Jessup, recruited him heavily from the Air Force Academy, but he chose Boise State, and I know Leon Rice is pretty happy about that one.
Oh, he's one of his favorite all-time players. And I told you today, you see him hitting those threes, and you kind of, in my mind, think he's about 6'3" or 6'4", and he's about 6'6", 6'7", long arms. Boy, he can really get it off. Now, he's not shooting it well tonight. And just as I was bragging, he made a little bit of a mistake there, but credit Purvis Louder, that was a pretty big-time move there, getting Jessup up in the air and then leaning in.
So Jessup picking up the foul, and as you mentioned, Louder, good heads-up play. Falcons are just trying to get on the board. They've had a scoring drought now.
Purvis Louder is no small kid. He's 6'4" himself, and we talked about him earlier in the game. Coach Filipovic talking about him today. There was 9 guys in his recruiting class, and he's the only one left. Now, one thing I'll say about Coach Filipovic, I admire him on many fronts. He never comes out of that sports coat and always looks just as dapper at the end of the game as he does at the start. By the time the game was over when I was coaching, I looked like I'd been sent for and couldn't go. I had my tie off, my hair was a mess. I think a time or two I took my shoes off, but it doesn't. He looks like he just stepped out of GQ.
So your best dressed award of the year goes to Coach Filipovic.
It does, without a doubt. And he is always cool as a cucumber. He's one of my favorite guys in the league. I really like him.
Mr. Superstition, we know that. He has a whole gum routine that he has to get down. You know, I think you were pretty cool as a cucumber coach. You didn't lose your cool too much. Oh, wait, you did lose your cool sometimes, didn't you?
The only time, and I tell people, that's my younger brother. That's not me. Look how dark his hair is there. That mustache. I had a time or two where I got a little upset. Boy, you guys have done a lot of homework here before this show.
Hey, we just wanted to make sure you had the best birthday ever. And you know what? I know you're having a good birthday because you said as a coach you never won on your birthday. And I told you as a broadcaster you could have been undefeated.
No, that is the truth. March 9th was always many times during conference tournament. I lost 5 games on March 9th in conference tournament.
30 points in here at Taco Bell Arena. Air Force can't seem to buy a bucket.
And here it is, senior night, looking like they're going to break that 6-game losing streak and send the seniors out with a good taste in their mouth. And, as I said in the open game, a little bit of momentum going in that conference tournament. Like Coach Rice told me, you never know when you get to the conference tournament what could happen.
Nixon swings it to the other side. Ball lands back in his hands and makes a 3.
Wow.
20 points for the redshirt sophomore.
His career high 32 earlier in the year and 2 30-point games His high was 33, as I saw you getting the high sign there. Thank you for that correction. But 2 30-point games this year, and he, like I say, Jenny, I think he's been the surprise in the entire Mountain West Conference.
It seems like every time you look at a box score, he has double figures and 20-plus points, it seems like. Well, we're doing some dances here, but
who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Video.
Holy mackerel. Get a straight jacket for that guy. Who is he?
Let's take a look at our conference standings brought to you by your Colorado Chevy dealers. On the left there, you see the preseason poll. Of course, Nevada was favored in the conference and has remained in the top 20 for the entire season. But how things ended up shaking out, Utah State came all the way from the bottom. They were picked 9th in the preseason poll to get a share of the Mountain West title. Nevada can share with them with a win over San Diego State coming up later tonight. And in the middle of the pack as well, things jumbled all around per usual once you get into conference play and teams start beating up on each other. So let's take a look at some scores from around the Mountain West today. Colorado State losing to UNLV. They were down by double digits most of the game, tried to make a comeback, but the Rebels prevailed 65-60. And Wyoming beating New Mexico 88-81. Fresno State beating San Jose State big time, and then as I mentioned, a big game coming up in Nevada and San Diego State later tonight. So with all of that said, if our math is correct, because it got a little hairy in there, it looks like if this game ends up the way it is, that Air Force is going to come away with a number 7 seed since New Mexico and Colorado State both lost.
Well, I'm glad you qualified that with if our math is correct.
Because my math was never correct in high school. You can ask my math teacher dad on that one.
But I think, I kind of think we're right on that, Jenny. The conference tournament, which starts next week, is going to be interesting as every year. And if you've never been to the Mountain West Conference tournament, it is a hoop to get to. All the teams in the Mountain West Conference travel well, and it's in at the Thomas and Mack, and it is a great, great affair put on by Dan Butterly and his group of the Mountain West Conference.
Air Force went over 6 minutes without scoring, and LaShawn Brown comes up with 3 to break the drought. Still a 30-point game, Broncos lead, and a foul called on the floor.
Well, their low for the year, their low scoring game was 50 at Michigan, and right now Haney and Austin are outscoring the Air Force Academy. Haney and Austin have 38 between them, and Air Force is sitting on 33, so they're going to have to go a little bit to not come away in the last game. It is the lowest scoring output of the year.
Austin with the putback and another jam from the sophomore.
Look at that grin on his face, too. You talk about a guy that's having fun. Wow. He's having a highlight reel game. That's his 3rd dunk this half, I believe, and he is just kind of showing off here on senior night.
He's trying to steal the show away from Haney.
He certainly is.
Haney came out strong, and Austin saying, "I'll finish the job, sir." Another 3 for LaShawn Brown, so back-to-back 3s.
And Boise State doing all of this with Justinian Jessup, their leading scorer, going 3 for 11 and only having 8 points right now. And again, it looks like role reversal. One team out here has lost 6 straight, and the other one has won 3 out of 4, and it'd be hard to guess which one's which the way they're playing right now.
LaShawn Brown had the steal and stepped out of bounds.
Look at Austin come from the weak side against this zone, and that offside defense just waving at him as he went by, and a nice job by Austin recognizing that ball going up, and he got there from about 18 feet away, Jenny. He was way out on that right wing when the ball went up, so credit his instincts a little bit with getting him there, and then he was about 2 feet over the rim when he dunked that.
Nate Harwell steps in the game for Jessup, and shot clock, and throws one up and doesn't make it, but another offensive rebound for the Boise State Broncos.
And that's the 3rd long rebound in this game Dickerson's gotten to give his team three more possessions.
8 of their 30 rebounds have been on the offensive side.
Good defense by Harwell there, staying in front of the ball. And again, Air Force with not one starter on the floor right now. And I kind of like this with Coach Filipovich. Okay, you guys didn't bring them today, so you get to sit over there and watch this misery here in the last 8 minutes.
Sean Brown has quickly racked up 8 points. 21 on the season coming into the game. This is his 11th game played. You mentioned the ankle injury that he suffered. They came back only to suffer an ankle injury on the other one. He just returned against Nevada their last game. Foul call on the floor, and we'll take a break in Boise. 65-38 Broncos. The touch of the game brought to you by Delta Faucet, and the touch is on the rim because Tarek Olsen had 3 big-time dunks for Boise State. And the redshirt sophomore at 6'8" is just showing off at this point in the second half.
And you saw Justinian Jessup on that first one thread the needle on that pass. We talked about earlier about what a great passer and how he leads the team in assists. And Austin with 25 dunks now on the season.
We haven't seen R.J. Williams in this game. He's right behind him with 24 dunks.
Well, R.J. Williams is such an interesting study. About 10 or 12 games into the season, he was not only a starter, he was leading the team in scoring and rebounding. And then he has just gradually kind of faded from the team almost. It's tough with junior college players.
They didn't score any points against New Mexico as Louder, the senior, with a steal, and he gets fouled by Harwell.
Air Force is shooting 23%, Jenny, in this half, and this was a team that was playing lights out. They did get beat in a very competitive game against Nevada, but I like what Coach Filipovich is doing. I alluded to it earlier. He's taking the starters out, and I talked about how they didn't show much emotion, they didn't play with much energy, and he is rewarding that by setting them on the bench and allowing them to witness this. And as he's put this team together, it has been a building process. They made headway last year when they swept Colorado State for the first time in over 10 years. They snapped a 22-game losing streak on the road last year, and this is just part of that building and learning process of what Coach Filipovich is doing with his starting 5 right now, and I admire him immensely for doing it.
Their 8 conference wins is the most they've seen in several years. They were looking for 9 today to finish at 500, but Boise State had different plans.
Well, this is a
They've
great...
lost so many close games, and now the opportunities.
Excuse me, Jenny, while I'm up on this soapbox,
Give it.
it is
It's your birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday. I'll say what I want to, but what a great learning situation this is for Air Force Academy. And Coach Filipovich would say, hey, remember back when we were playing good and why we were playing good? So again, I admire him for doing this, and I'm happy for Leon Rice that his team is playing so well right now. These guys, these 2 coaches, by the way, are great friends. Great friends, not just kind of good friends. They are great friends, and they love to communicate and kid one another, and I really feel good about seeing that.
Jessup in double figures. His third 3 on the night.
Boy, he's got a sweet stroke, too. I mean, he lifts that elbow and holds that ball through. He's got as pretty a jump shot as you'll see in the league.
This one off the mark, and Alston with a rebound.
Rebound way up above the rim.
7 rebounds now.
And with everything else he's done tonight, that was a terrific post pass by Derek Hawkins. Passing it to the post or feeding the post was kind of a lost art, and he did that like he was walking through the park. That was a terrific pass. Haney wasn't able to convert, but again, that was a great pass by him.
The Coach pulls up.
Another rebound for Jessup, who leads his team in rebounding.
34 rebounds for the Broncos, just 18 for the Falcons. They seem to flip the script. Their last meeting at Queen Arena was Boise State that got out-rebounded, 41-22. I'm pretty sure that was part of the scouting report today.
Well, Jenny, I think rebounding is a measuring stick for effort. And I'm not trying to beat Air Force up because I have all the admiration in the world for them. But when you're out rebounding that bad, that's just a sign of effort or lack thereof.
Zach Haney checking out of the game, and a standing ovation from the Broncos faithful for the redshirt senior. He leaves on senior night with a career high of 20 points.
How about that?
That is how you script it, my friend.
You ain't lying. You script it that way, but if you're the coach, you want to say, where's that been, for the last 4 years?
Or maybe things are getting hot at the right time to do another tournament next year.
And who knows, like Coach Rice says, who knows what's going to happen at the tournament. They go down there with everything to gain and nothing to lose, coming off a great home win here. What's going to be playing loose as a goose, and who knows what's going to happen down there.
Air Force just throwing up shots, and nothing seems to be falling for them. 16 made field goals.
I guarantee you, in the first round of the Mountain West Conference, you'll see a much different Air Force team there. And as I remind people, as a former head coach, these kids aren't like computers. You don't dial them in, plug them in, and here we go. They are prone to emotion and feelings just like every other young person is. And you don't know why, as a coach, you got to be about half psychologist and psychiatrist one to figure them out, but they basically didn't show up tonight.
The wake-up call is every team continues on the road except for UNLV, who gets to play on their home court next week in Vegas.
Which is a little bit of point, sore point with everyone else in the league. But it's interesting, they make UNLV take down all their banners that are in their arena, so it doesn't look like it's their home court. It's like a neutral court, which everyone knows it's not. But I'm not sure how else you do it in the Mountain West Conference to get the atmosphere that they get every year down in Las Vegas.
The Mountain West Conference does such a nice job. Teams out the floor right now as we see, putting in the Mountain West emblem floor. And
no, they do a great job, and mine and your buddy, Dan Butterly is the guy that heads that up, and he does a terrific job of making that happen.
Kaya gets fouled, and he'll have free throws on the other side. 73-42. A big blowout in Boise, 73-42. Boise State looking to snap that 6-game losing streak. And here's how things should play out next week when it comes to the Mountain West Conference Tournament in Las Vegas. With the win today, it actually didn't matter what Boise State did. They're going to be playing in that 8-9 game. Looks like the most likely be a 9th seed. With the loss today, Air Force is the one that had more at stake. They are going to be the 7th seed. With a win, they would have outright been the 6th seed, but now it looks like they're going to be a 7th seed and draw the 10th seed, which should be Wyoming.
And what day of the week does that start next week, Jim?
That starts on Wednesday for the Mountain West Tournament.
And Air Force, in the meantime, has to score 7 more points to at least tie their least efficient offensive output of the year. They were held to 50 at Michigan, sitting on 44 right now.
And their home road split, they average about 10 points less per game out on the road. Usually around the low 60s, not the low 40s.
There's R.J. Williams, as we talked about earlier, with what he was doing early in the year, just taking it and making it go in the basket.
Air Force's bench players are going to try and finish things out strong. The steal coming for Tremblay, and look at the play! Passes it off to his teammate Williams, an easy score now for RJ.
How about that? The 2 new junior college players kind of showing off a little bit there, and you can tell it's all going your way when you see plays like that on senior night.
Time is 2. 77-46, under 2 to go. David Wacker, the lone senior on the court on senior night. Put up 5. Dembly throws one up and airballs it.
It's going to be a wonderful feel-good night for these seniors in the last home game for the Broncos and a long trip back to Colorado Springs for the Cadets. Purvis Louder for the Cadets playing his last regular season game, the only senior and a co-captain for Air Force Academy.
Bryce Hughes was fouled, and he's going to go to the line. A lot of basketball blood in his genes. His dad, Dan Hughes, is the head coach for the Seattle Storm in the WNBA. He has his first free throw.
And some guys getting time for the academy now that a lot of times don't get much time. And the starters sitting on the bench for a long period of time.
Now a standing ovation for the other senior in David Wacker, finishing out his regular season of his career. And they're going to do it with a win, a much-needed win for Boise State. You could tell from the get-go, playing with a different energy. They needed a win before the Mountain West tournament. A lot of close losses for them. We talked about it earlier, but in case you missed it, just 1-9 in games decided by less than 3 points in 2 overtimes. They're looking to turn the tide come Vegas next week. Zach Cooper with points for Air Force.
Zach Haney playing his 123rd game tonight, and David Wacker his 121st. And getting anytime you play over 100 games for the school you went to me, that is like a badge of an award badge you should wear. That is a great, great achievement.
Dembly contested and still makes the 3. Foul on Dembly. Free throws for a tie coming. 6 points for the sophomore today. 17 minutes. Averages 10 minutes in conference play. A lot of the inexperience for Air Force getting that experience in this blowout. Not a fun way to end the season for Air Force. They've won 3 of 4 coming in. Now they're going to lose back-to-back games after Nevada took them at their place. And now Boise State on their home court is going to dribble it out with 20 seconds to go. A 28-point lead for the Broncos. And a big day for the 2 seniors. Zach Haney, a career-high 20 points. And David Wacker adding another 5. The shot clock violation. Air Force with the basketball one last time. It's under 5 seconds to go. The chants from the crowd coming, and the 2 friends meet at half court, and Dave Pilipovich and Leon Rice, the 2 longest tenured coaches in the Mountain West Conference. A lot of respect for those 2 men. They've both built great programs. Dave Pilipovich, his success continues to get better each and every year, so the Falcons are going to end 8-10 in conference play. They'll have the 7th seed come Mountain West tourney time next week in Las Vegas. Their overall record, 13-17. As for the Broncos, they snapped that 6-game losing streak with the big win today here at Taco Bell Arena. Their 7th win in conference play. The 12th overall this season, so 12-19. 19 losses is the most in program history, so they're tied there. They avoid getting the dreaded one with the big win. And Leon Rice has to feel really good about that one as they go into Las Vegas next week. Let's get over to Coach Cravens, who's standing by with Coach Rice.
Coach Rice, first of all, congratulations, my friend. Could you have scripted a senior night much better than that?
That's what I just said to my staff. I was like, that's great. And those two deserve it. They've struggled this year as far as winning games, and they've been a big part of this program for 5 years, and so I was really, really happy for them.
Well, we talked before the game tonight. You'd lost 6 in a row, 2 in overtime, 1 by 2, 1 by 1. You got going tonight, and who knows what's going to happen at the tournament.
Well, we've been playing great ball, really. We have. It's just, it's a zero-sum game. You win or lose, and we've been on the bad end of them. But we've been playing good basketball. We're sticking together. We're battling. So they got rewarded tonight for that. And, we want to go down to the tournament and play our best basketball. And certainly a game like this helps to do that.
That actually looks pretty easy to me. I don't see what is it. What's the challenge in this coaching staff?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah.
Well, you look great tonight, man. Congratulations.
Great night for the seniors, and our team gets some mojo going down in the tournament.
Good luck in the tournament, my friend. Back to you, Jenny.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. So many tough losses this season for Boise State and Leon Rice. This will be a nice way to end the conference season, the regular season, and head into the tournament. As for the seniors, it was their night, and Jack Haney made that known from the very start. He had 14 first-half points, ended with a career-high 20 points, 8 for 15 from the field. He even added a three-pointer, just his 4th of the season. So a big night indeed for the big man, the 6'11" redshirt senior from Texas. Let's head over to Coach Craven standing by with Zach Haney.
Zach Haney, your senior night, your 123rd game here, and your career high. Doesn't get much better than that, partner.
Doesn't at all. No, we needed to win tonight, and I just wanted to go out with a bang, give the fans of Boise what they wanted.
You made a three-point play, got to play a little air guitar. I hadn't seen that in your career yet.
I know. I knew I was going to shoot some tonight, so if I'm not going down, bring out something new. One last thing.
You've played so many close games this year. You guys really haven't lost confidence, and you got to feel good going down the Mountain West Conference tournament now.
Yes, sir. I mean, we always emphasize fight. We fight every day. We show up every day to fight. That's what we're going to do.
And a real special relationship. You and David Wacker have been here forever and a day together. Tell me about what great teammates and friends you are.
Oh, he's a great guy, man. Be there for you. He has your back no matter what. Has a great spirit. All I have to say about David Wacker is he's my guy. He's my man.
You've had a great career here, and it's been my pleasure to watch you play. Good luck in the Mountain West Conference.
I appreciate it.
All right, Zach. Back to you, Jenny, one more time.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much. The 2 seniors and the 2 friends in the starting lineup tonight for the first time all season. Of course, Boise State coming up with the big victory over Air Force, 80-52, the final from Taco Bell Arena. We'll be right back to wrap it all up. The man of the hour, the senior, Zach Haney, his final game at Taco Bell Arena, and an 80-52 final for his Boise State Broncos. Yeah, you talk about it going back and forth in this game as a coach. It's so hard, and they've lost so many close games. But for Boise State, they came out with a vengeance. They got that big win out of the gate. And we didn't only see the seniors in this one, Coach. We talked about the bright future of both of these teams in the Mountain West Conference. And how about Derek Alston just going bananas today?
Well, I think I need to tell my friend Leon Rice the key to it. Just don't play any close games. Come out and play this way. Every game, boy, they look good. And Derek Austin, 22 points, 3 dunks in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and a couple nice passes. I tell you, this kid just gets better virtually every game.
Highlight reel dunks as well in front of his former teammate in Chandler Hutchinson. He's going, hey, watch out, NBA. I'm coming for you one day. Let's take a look at the final stats in this one. It was Boise State shooting lights out from the start. They end up 51% from the field compared to Air Force's 37%. 12 made threes for Boise State, a big key today. And then, of course, when it came to rebounding, all Broncos 35 to Air Force's 22, and turnovers were the big story for the Falcons, a team that turns over the ball 13 times a game. They had double digits by halftime.
Well, Air Force kind of got the turnover situation straightened out. Only 12 for the game. They had 10 the first half, which led to 14 first half points by Boise State. But then Air Force couldn't buy a basket for their life to start the second half. And Coach Phil Povich sent a pretty strong message to his starting five by setting them probably for 12, 14 minutes the second half. So I imagine he got his situation straightened out, and Leon Rice certainly got his team straightened out, both of them going down to the conference tournament next week.
Well, Coach, a good day to have a birthday. Happy birthday once again to
Thank you.
And I have to get your thought as we go to the tournament. Who is your favorite to win the Mountain West Conference tournament next week in Vegas?
Well, I think the best team in the league right now, I think there's two great teams. I think Nevada and Utah State are really playing very well. Utah State may have the edge right now. They're feeling pretty good about things. And I think San Diego State is a team that you just never know. They've knocked off a little bit of everyone here coming down the stretch. So, as I talked about during the game, the Mountain West Conference is a terrific tournament. If you have a chance to go down there and enjoy yourself, it's one of the best college tournaments I've ever been to.
Of course, the winner goes on to the big dance in the NCAA tournament. We'll see if the Mountain West can get two teams come March Madness time. We had a bunch of fun at Taco Bell Arena. In fact, we had a bunch of fun all year long bringing you Mountain West basketball. We're so glad you could join us on AT&T Sportsnet for our college team coverage. For the birthday boy, Bill Cravens, and